All right. I think we're live. This is my first episode. I got the legendary Glenn Twiddle. And yes, this is Real Estate Uncensored, guys. But I'm here with my dear good friend, Mr. Glenn Twiddle, the legend, the myth, the man, the trainer of the decade and century out of Australia, where he is locked in, like we are locked in. But you know what we wanted to do is really kind of come in and just talk about the market, talk about what's going on. If you guys want to come in, I'd be happy to invite you in. If you want to have a discussion with us, I think this is going to be incredible. But Glenn, for anyone who lives under a gigantic effing boulder, who are you? Where are you from? What do you do? What's your favorite color? And do you like long walks on the Australian coast beaches?
Well, man, I'm glad we've got an informal setting today because, whenever we do the Real Estate Uncensored podcast, we've got Johnson sitting there keeping us on track, and Matt Johnson's being the professional that he is. So I like this, that we can sort of just chat. We're trying out a new platform, streaming live to a couple of different places. We've got titles here, and we've got branding up here, and I think awesome. Somehow I've still got my green screen set up from last time I used this, so I do have to change. Oh, there we go. I'm going to turn off this green screen. There you go. Because I could see that something in my background here was kind of chroma keying out. It was like if there was a book here that was green or a DVD or something, it was chroma keying that out. So
I was wondering what that was.
Welcome, sir.
Well, I'm glad that you're here, man. I'm so super excited. I've been wanting to try this for a long period of time. My good friend Stefan Adika has been doing it, and he's been seeing a lot of good
oh my God.
returns on it. And he puts on a show.
Oh, does he? I mean, he's hanging out with Doc McGee the other day, like icons of the music industry. And here's Stefan just saying, "Hey, come in." I mean, I saw him once on I think it was on a stream with you. He pulls up his phone, streams with the drummer from Kiss. And then says, and then Gene Simmons starts giving him shit. What are you doing? Or some shit.
Oh yeah, no, Eric and he are best buddies.
Eric Singer, absolutely, yeah.
It's unbelievable, and I wanted to try this out, and it's 8:00 a.m. and you're in quarantine. I'm in quarantine, so virtual cheers to you, my friend. Let's talk about
the first person I have drunk beer with at 8 a.m. in a long, long time. This was what I did as a teenager, not what I do as a grown idiot.
Oh, God, no kidding, right? But I mean, let's do this. Let's invite some people in. So if you guys want to come in, all you have to do is let me know. I'll give you guys the link. Send me a message. I'll shoot the link out. You know what? I'm going to do this right here. I'm going to copy. I'm going to put this in the comments.
Where's this now, Greg? And let me share the stream as well. Where is it now? Where can I find it?
It's going to be on my Facebook page, and it's going to be on my YouTube channel, the Real Estate Uncensored YouTube channel. But I want to talk to everybody out there. And Glenn, I want to hear what you're seeing in Australia. What is this market doing? And then I want to talk about something. I just got off a really interesting phone call with some marketing team that we're going to be deploying a marketing concept. And I want to see what you guys think. And I don't care if I give it away. You guys can have whatever I have, you guys can have, okay? But if I get Corona, you're not getting my Corona, okay? I'm keeping my Corona for myself. I don't give a shit what you guys say. It's my Corona. So, Glenn, what are you seeing in Australia, dude? I mean, you are like at like the pinnacle level. You're like an icon, coach.
God,
everyone looks to you. Oh, shush your face. But I mean, what are you seeing, man? You run with the big dogs down there. I mean, are people freaking out? Or are you guys staying cool? I mean, are they losing business? I mean, what's going on, man?
I tell you, it was never summed up better. And I'm putting something together that we did something that was almost well, I'll give you the story. So we were going to take a tour around Australia called the Ultimate 2020 Real Estate Agent. This was planned historically, and it was set to go now. Mm-hmm. And this threw a spanner in that work, so that tour had to be cancelled and it taken online. So we informally got all the speakers that were going to go around, got their presentations that we were going to go and teach, applied COVID-19 restrictions to those principles, and saw what could have happened. But it was on the first night, and it was very much, so we did it over 3 nights. Instead of over one day, we did it over 3 nights, couple hours a night kind of thing. And what we found was, on the first night, at the end, it mutated into kind of like your beers and drinks. It mutated into some of the market leaders in Australia on a screen share, and there was like 7 of us, you know, with the talking heads and things. And there was Matt Steinway, Chris Gilmore, Andrew G. Just many of the people you've met when I've brought you down to Australia were all there on this virtual thing. And it's there live for all the world to see. It was day one of the Ultimate 2020 Agent on my Facebook page. And you can see Matt Steinway at one extreme saying, been through all this before, been through the GFC where, you know, businesses just plummeted, buyers just went away for a year and no one wanted to buy a property. No one. Like literally demand went away. So we went through some horror in 2008. But what happened is at that time, anyone who could pull a deal together and did got very, very popular. Their business went up. A sold sign became like gold, and it attracted like flies on a piece of poo or Glenn on an 8 a.m. beer or something. and so Matt was at one extreme saying, it's all good. It's all good. And, you know, keeping a positive attitude like he's got, keeping his energy up, working out like a madman, acknowledging that there's something up, but kind of not only is this okay, hey, look, maybe the world needed it. Very positive attitude about it or whatever. At the other end of the spectrum, we had another great friend of mine, Chris Gilmore, who's still making sales and still doing good, but he's just settled on buying out a massive competitor of his. So he's put 7 figures, you know, big, giant 7-figure sum into buying out a competitor's rent roll. Now, for you guys in the States, I don't know if you have that. Do you guys have like a rental department that?
Not really, but I mean, there are different groups.
Yeah. So someone joining us. Who is that? Is that Adika?
No, we got Mildred Jones here with us. Mildred, can you hear us?
Oh, it's not someone nude. I saw the inside of your hand and I thought it was a naked body.
Oh, no naked people. No naked people.
Hello, Mildred.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Mildred. Where are you coming in from today?
New York.
Oh man, you guys are locked down.
Ground zero.
Yeah, we're locked down.
So tell us a little bit about New York. I mean, tell us kind of what you're seeing and experience over there. What are you doing for real estate leads? Are you guys kind of just pausing?
No, we can't pause. Now, would I be pausing and listening to you? Of course not. No, we're not pausing. We're just doing everything online. We're trying to do Zoom, go in, have the homeowners themselves take pictures of their property, send it to us. We'll put it on the internet, and we're just doing things like that. We can't do any open houses or make any cold calls. So we're just doing everything with the properties that we already have, putting them on the internet and trying to get them out there to the public so they can see them.
So Glenn,
can't make calls, Mildred? Can't make calls at all? Oh, now, not allowed to make calls or choosing not to make calls?
No, we cannot make cold calls.
They can't. Oh, Mildred just dropped off. I don't know where
we lost Mildred.
We lost Mildred. We'll try to get her back on with us, guys. If you guys want to join us, just let us know. I put the link for this into the stream, so go ahead and grab that.
So, Greg, you guys aren't allowed to make calls there.
We are. We are. We can still make calls. People kind of frown on it a little bit. I still making the calls because I go after it with a different mindset, Glenn. Go after it with a value add benefit. What can I do to bring value to the people I'm calling to talk to?
Because exactly what I've been saying. Because sure, if you call up someone and say, "Hey, Greg, you want to sell your house?" It's like, they'll flip you off. But if you went in there and said, "Hey, if you're in lockdown, look, this community's been really good to me in my business. Do you need anything? Look, I got some toilet paper. Do you need any of the stuff that Can I pop you anything around? I'll leave it at the front door. Can I just help?" Man, how good is that going to be as a call? You will be the family real estate agent for millennia.
Life, for the generations upon generations. And Glenn, though, actually, there's a story that I've been telling a lot of people about you and your organization because it really impacted me. You'll know the gentleman's name, but I didn't know his name. The gentleman, when you guys were burning to the ground last year, because of our media telling us that you guys are burning to the ground, but you're like, nah, bro, it happens every year. But I mean, you had a client that did not evacuate. He and his group stayed. They made huge vats of food and water, and they took care of the first responders and the animals and everything else. And he didn't do it for visibility. He did it because he loved his community.
Yep.
Now tell that story, because I get it wrong, and I want to make sure I get it right for the future when I tell it.
Yeah. So Jose and Lisa are Jonah up in Woodgate, a very regional, it's 4 hours north of me. I'm in Brisbane, Southeast Queensland, so I'm in the capital city, 4 hours north. It's a coastal town, a little sleepy little hamlet that I'm sure they're cranky that I keep talking about so positively. So no, but yeah, exactly what you said. He's a great cook himself. So he whipped up these paellas, and I didn't even know what a paella was. He made one for me when I went up there, this seafood prawn thing, and it's just beautiful. And so he made them, these big vats of food. And because when all the residents, or a whole lot of the residents, left the town, everyone forgot, oh, wait a minute, who's going to feed the firefighters and the SES and the emergency first responders and all of those folks when everyone's left, when the town's left? Because this township has one road in, one road out. So if they didn't leave and fire took over that arterial road, it was a wrap for them. So everyone had to make a choice, go or stay. And they stayed. And he may not have done it for exposure within his community, but he went instantly into a town hero with his attitude of service. Now that's at the extreme, but you can do little things right now in COVID Central. If someone can't go up to the bottle shop, if you dropped around a 6-pack and they can't leave, realtor for life.
Oh my God. I mean, if you dropped off a bottle of some yummy alcohol at my place and I couldn't leave or whatnot, I'd be like, dude, that cost you like $15. I will give you 15 million in return because you solved a major problem. But I mean, that's such a basic thing, Glenn, but yet it's such a major impact on people. And I with the way that the whole thing is kind of turning out, we all wanted to be the celebrities of our neighborhoods. And you, of all of us, you are the best example of that. You are just legendary. You hang with the biggest of the bigs. I mean, you've shown me your phone when you're like, guess who's texting me? And I'm like, who? They are Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sylvester Stallone, Gary V, all these names.
I'm waiting on getting Stallone's number in there. I've got his agent.
That's close enough. But I mean, you got Arnold Schwarzenegger's number texting you. Okay, let's do that one. But my thing is like, let's talk about local things. And we're going to bring Mildred's here. We're going to bring Mildred back in here in a second. Cool. But let's talk about some local stuff that we, as the average agents, or the proactive agents in our neighborhoods, what, in your opinion, can we be doing to bring value to our local folks? Is it bringing the beer? Is it bringing some food? Is it offering your elderly neighbors or clientele, hey, do you guys need anything? I'll go to Safeway and I'll get it for you, and I'll bring it. I'll put it 6 feet away, and I'll bring some hand wipes for you too. What can I do to help you?
Yeah. So, Greg and Mildred, you just missed the start of this conversation that I was asking about. Can you or can you not even make a call? And I suppose I would add to that question for Mildred is, you're saying you can't make a cold call, and certainly we wouldn't want to make a cold call around the real estate space. Hey, do you want to sell your condo or something? We wouldn't want to do that. But my question of you, Mildred, is, even under lockdown circumstances, is the phone as a tool banned? Or is the phone as a tool for cold calling banned? Because are you allowed to call a neighbor that's in the phone book and say, in your market farm area, if you guys have little local farm areas that you sort of farm for your real estate prospecting, and if so, are you allowed to call those folks and say something like, hey, Mildred, it's Glenn Twiddle here. I'm a neighbor of yours. My business serves this community, and I'm as devastated as you about this current situation. Hey, is there anything you need? I don't know. Are you in lockdown yourself, Mildred? Find out whether they're locking themselves away, under militant, lock and key. Because down here, we've got some people that are choosing to stay in sort of isolation, and some people that are mandated with legal and army ramifications that are not allowed to leave their properties.
Seriously.
So, yeah. Well, because I just got back from WA, West Australia, where Naomi lives, and I just got back to Queensland. And as I was landing at the airport, I had to get a form from the army, from the military guy that was there, fill out that form and give it to a police officer who grilled me a little bit about my residential status, my reason for travel, and all of that. And if I didn't answer it the way that I did, there was a form that he gives you that mandates you go into isolation for 14 days, and then you can't leave your house Like you cannot leave to get food.
What?
Right? So, like that. So they have to. Part of the questioning. Had I have had to go into forced isolation, they would have said, "Have you got the capacity to have food delivered to you, or do you have food for 14 days? Because you can't leave. If you have to leave, if the house is burning down, you can leave for an hour." And if you can't get back, if the house isn't if it's burnt to the ground, you have to call a police officer and tell them you're under blah blah blah. And so there's two levels here. So my question would be, are you allowed to serve your community and any of the states that are tuning into you, Greg, across America? Mildred's is saying that you can't make a call. Well, can you communicate with a human to, and Greg, what you're saying is, could I offer this? Could I offer that? Could I offer this? My advice would be talk to the humans and don't offer anything. Ask them what they need. It'd be, Mildred, this business, this community has served my family and allowed me to run a business serving you, and it's allowed me to feed my family for my entirety of my life. We're all in pain right now. I get it, right? This is devastating. I'm allowed to leave my house and because I'm not in forced lockdown. And now I'm I don't know the rules here. You got to tweak this to the rules in your area of what you are and aren't allowed to do. But here, I'm allowed to leave my house. I'm allowed to take a little pack of, if say Mildred said she's out of toilet paper, got no food in the house, I'm allowed to take a little $30 pack of food and toilet paper and leave it on her doorstep, ring the doorbell, get the hell out of there, no problem. And so what I was saying to Greg off camera, Mildred, if you made those calls, now I know that it might cost you $30 or $20 every time someone says yes. And that's one of the challenges, that you've got to figure out the financials of this. But just know this, when it comes to selling that house, so long as after this is all over, you stayed in touch, if it costs you $20 to make the biggest of giantest of impact on that human, it would be like you're in religion A, you're their pastor. They will never go to another preacher or another pastor. As long as they live, you will be a religion when it comes to real estate in that household, because you were the one who didn't call them up and say, "Oh, do you want to sell a house?" You called them up and said, "What do you need?" And whatever they say, you ascertain a way to weigh the financial commitment of what you can do and your legal commitment of what you're allowed to do, and just help. Because some people will just want to have a call and just say, no, we've had some people doing this sort of strategy, right? And even calling it a strategy is wrong, because it's not. It's just being a wonderful human. But we've had some people do this, and they've gotten text messages back. They've put a little graphic out there saying, "Hey, do you need anything? Give me a yell and whatever." And I'll try and share my screen in a moment. And they've come back and said, "Nah, man, we're right, but that's the most freaking amazing offer that I've ever had in this craziness." That offer was like a beacon. The world's gone crazy. You've just restored my faith in humanity. Thanks. They didn't want anything, but it was the offer that spoke volumes to that human. So that's a little bit of something. Is Greg, what do we offer? Whatever they need is kind of the answer.
Exactly. And damn, man, you fucking make that shit rain. I mean, I just wind you up like a toy and just let you go, and you just off you run. Good God. Mildred, what are some of your thoughts?
Okay, what he said, it sounds great. Basically, what we can do here in New York is call our past clients and our sphere of influence. So I have been calling my past clients saying the same thing. "Hi, how are you doing? How's the family? Is there anything I can do for you? Just let me know." And that's basically what we're doing. I'm not soliciting or anything of that sort. I'm just asking them, how can I help them in this situation? Like you said, after all this is over, they remember that Mildred called, and she wasn't trying to get me to sell my house or anything. She just called to see how me and my family was doing.
Yeah. And what
and again, I'm sorry not to cut you off. They're asking us to stay in our house. They're quarantined. It's mandated, but we don't have police outside forcing us to do it. But basically, like I said, no cold calling, just people that you know, your sphere of influence and your past clients. And basically anything else, if we have a property, we can take video. We're using Zoom and FaceTime and things like that to get pictures, put it on the internet, have our homeowners take the pictures themselves, send it to us, and we set it up. We cannot go in their homes. until we have a sure deal and a contract is signed.
You know what? I am showing my girlfriend some houses. She's going to be buying one relatively soon in San Francisco, and I'm trying to set up 7 different properties for Sunday. And one of the properties said, "No, we're only doing completely virtual showings right now." And what they're doing is that they're doing like a 360 walkthrough of the property. And I actually have. I bought one of these things when it wasn't cool to have the 360 camera. Actually, I thought it was cool. And this is called an Insta 360. You know, and everyone thought I was a wackadoodle. They're like, "What the fuck are you gonna do with a 360 camera?" I'm like, "I don't know. It costs $120. I don't care." And you know, go into the property, shoot their properties with a narration. You know, be able to showcase it, do drone flyovers, do a I'm working on a. You know, I'd love to get your guys' opinion on this. I'm working on a whole social media campaign called the No Contact Home Selling Program. And where, you know, because back in the 80s and the 90s, it was very common for people to sell properties, especially commercial properties or, you know, investment properties. And they would say they would buy the property subject to a physical inspection. So that would be a subject to a physical walkthrough to see if you still want to proceed with the sale. And I'm wondering if that's, I think there's something really there, especially with doing some philanthropic things and doing some value add into the neighborhoods and stuff like that, because people still need to sell and buy real estate. Housing is not going to stop, especially with the shelter in place. I mean, what are you going to shelter in place underneath a bridge? And that's not going to work. I mean, you know, here in California, what they're doing is they're acquiring a lot of hotel rooms for the homeless to put them into them. They're going to be managed. Yeah, no shit, right? It's like
when there's not a crisis, they'll have thousands of people down in the homeless world, and yet when there's a crisis, all of a sudden it's backwards. Why didn't we help them when the world was fine?
Yeah, it's completely asinine. Don't get me started on that bullshit. But I mean, my point is like it's just interesting. And I want to hear any of you guys that want to join in. The links are here in the chats. Join in and let's talk. Let's talk about your marketplaces. Let's talk about how we can all come together and make this even more.
What I can't handle talking about, Greg, is how the hell did you talk me into drinking beer at 8 a.m.? I just woke up. I was up till 2 a.m. last night. I just woke up and Greg said, "Get on," and I'm doing beers and talk. And okay, so I need to get beers, Greg. Oh my God, I hold you responsible, sir.
Hey man, I just said I'm gonna do beers and talk. I gotta get a beer, and I hear you clanging around back there. I'm like, I think he's getting a beer. Oh, okay.
Not just one.
I know you got 2. I got one.
I have my Avengers. I have my Avengers box.
So let's talk about this, and let's talk a little bit more about, Glenn, some ideas that you're gleaning off of folks right, left, upside down, and backwards in regards to marketing. People, if you can't do calls, you can't, let's say in Australia, you can't leave your house. You know, how do you go out and how do you have the opportunity to bring value to your neighborhoods and keep continually building your business? We're not going to be in lockdown forever, guys. This is not a permanent state. If it is, we're all fucked.
Yeah, none of our economies will handle it, man. Your economy is Western, as is mine. And we'll be a third world country if we keep this up, you know? So, Greg, is that you typing or is that you?
That's Mildred.
Mildred, yeah.
No,
So,
I'm not
sorry?
typing.
Oh, okay. Is it you, Greg?
No, she's texting. I'm hearing.
Is your microphone right next to the keyboard?
No, she is texting. I just muted her, and so Mildred, wave at me when you're done texting.
She said she wasn't, mate. Look at her. I'm not.
That's so weird. Somewhere that was coming
something
from.
A bit crackly, and it's got to be one of us. It might be some little dude on the wire in between Australia and New York. Some little crab. It's some little crab on the international wire on the seafloor, on the ocean floor.
That little bastard's eating away at this thing. He's gonna screw up our show. Damn it!
Mute me again and see if it's coming from here.
Yeah.
Mute me again and see if it's coming from here.
It's definitely coming from there.
Oh,
100%.
Mildred, I feel bad because you're not typing, but it's New York City. It's a rat from the subway. That's what it is. It's a little rat messing with things.
Well, Mildred, what we're going to do is we're going to let you go. If you want to come back in and try the audio again, let's rock and roll. Yes. But I'd love having you come on.
Mildred. Lovely to meet you.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. We'll talk soon.
Wow, you got some amazing viewers, man. You got
what a
some
sweet
amazing
woman.
Yeah. In the middle of, look at her demeanor in the middle of New York, because at least on the other side of the world, the media is portraying New York as frickin' ground zero of this shit, like militant lockdown. And every day the governor, the mayor, and the president is on there talking about New York, you know, the most powerful humans on the planet. And boy, oh boy, and Mildred seems calm, not freaking out. You know, if you'd have said to me, what would a typical New Yorker look like right now? I'd have had hair, like the afro standing on the end.
We got to get you to grow some hair, and then without, I mean, I would freak out. I mean, I'm losing my stuff a little bit on this stuff, but I'm not losing it too much, and this is the reason why. So I'm viewing this as an opportunity here, and I hope everyone else can take this as an opportunity to start bobbing and weaving. So, you know, what's that thing that you've always wanted to do, or you thought you should be doing, and wait for it? It's called video. And so I bought, you know, StreamYard here that you guys can see. And it is a great program. Paid $230 for it for the full year. You can market into multiple different locations and multiple different platforms. I'm in Facebook and YouTube right now, but I could also go live into LinkedIn, which is really exciting. And you can also go into Periscope. You know, you choose your vibes, but
Periscope's
Glenn,
still around. Did Twitter bought Periscope? Yeah, tell me the status of Periscope right now.
So we're going to bring Jen in. Jen's going to be joining us really quickly. Hi, Jen. Jess. My bad.
Hi.
My dyslexic ass kicked in hardcore on that one, Jess.
I'm the CEO of 1,000 calls a day. Oh my God, you are. You lie, woman. You lie. 1,000 calls a day. Tell me, Jess, you lie, woman. Hey? I've been a cold calling beast like that man right there is. And 1,000 calls a day cannot be done.
Actually,
well,
I beg to
it can
differ.
if you've got the right
Maybe
tool.
the dial. Yeah, maybe with the dialers. Yeah. I'm with you, actually with you, Greg. With the multiple dialers, it could be done. I agree. But you can't do 1,000 connects in a day. Cannot be done.
No, not 1,000 connects. Not without a team anyway. We tend to have a team of virtual assistants that do this. And so we, all of our clients right now are really focusing on getting in touch with their past clients and quote unquote dead leads, making sure that everybody is nurturing relationships. But so we're doing a lot less volume right now. But when it's a cold calling season and it's time to really jump in there and dial, we can pound it out on the 5-9 dialer, which is the compliant dialers that we use.
So, Jess, tell me a little bit about the message that you guys are using. Are you guys using the traditional, hey, you want to think about buying or selling, or are you switching into more, hey, what can Bob Smith do at Remax to help you? What can Glenn Twiddle at EXP do? What can Greg McDaniel at EXP do? You know, what's the messaging? Because everyone's kind of talking about how do you tweak that, and you're getting. I'm seeing some people that want to socially, how can I say it? Do some social shaming to folks that are doing prospecting calls. And I'd love to hear your opinion on this, because I think they're fucking assholes who want to shame people for doing their job.
You know, because a lot of our virtual assistants are actually located in the Philippines, we've dealt with social shaming for outsourcing things overseas for 6 years now. Realistically, one of the things that our clients, that we tell our clients and we get our VAs to tell the leads that we're calling, if there is an issue about them, you know, you have an accent or something like that, or especially when you're calling into smaller demographics, like we ask them, you know, my boss is a business owner here in the United States, and he's able to actually pass on the benefits that he gets from hiring overseas to you, because I don't cost as much as somebody here in the US. And so we're using that same type of mentality to switch the scripts that we're using now to follow up with past clients and to follow up with dead leads. You know, we know that right now a lot of homeowners are going through extreme financial crises, or they're getting ready to go through an extreme financial crisis. These are the resources that you need to know about. Call your mortgage company. You're gonna take a long time to be on the phone, but when you have time, or when you get to the other side of this hump, if you decide you need to sell, you know, we're trying to get them before they're actually distressed sellers, really. If you need to sell, let me know. You know, I'm here for you. But these are the resources that we have available to us right now, so that you don't have to worry about being kicked out from your landlord, or, you know, your mortgage going out. So, like with calling, looking for investors that wanted to get rid of some rental properties if people aren't paying rent, that's another good tactic.
Interesting. Glenn, would that work in Australia right now? Would that be something that you, because I mean, calling works everywhere. I mean, would that messaging work? And again, Jess, I'm just asking because we got the grand master of all coaches, like the man. I mean, this guy crushes skulls on his bad days.
Well, I am drinking beer at 8 a.m. That's one thing, Greg. I'm just sitting here going, what a world it is where Greg McDaniel, international podcasting icon, he and I are messaging, and I'm lying in bed, right? I'm lying in bed thinking, oh, well, another day in paradise. Here I feel like a prisoner. I want to get on Facebook and say, morning, fellow inmates. How are we? Kind of thing. But what I would suggest is it is a wonderful world. But a lot of things that would, when you say, Greg, what would work in Australia, that may or may not be helpful to your USA folks. Like even as I'm listening to Jess, one of the biggest challenges we've got with calls here, certainly using outsourced calls, is when on that phone number comes in and it doesn't say 0416 or something that is an Australian number. If it says private number, we're dead in the water. Then like, literally we've got a 1 in 40 answer of that. But here's the next one that's a challenge, Jess, and I'm definitely up for hearing how you guys deal with this, because in Australia, whenever you've used any service, if it doesn't come with a local number, and even what Greg does with the dialer that Greg uses, when that consumer has to say hello twice and there's a pause, and then there is an accent other than an Australian coming through that phone, click. Like virtually 1 in 50 will listen to the messaging of a overseas accent with a fake, with even a local number. Say they've got a local number importer where the number looks local. If there's a pause, they know it's VoIP, then a foreign accent, over, done, and click. So the only telemarketing we've been effectively able to use here has been locals. You know, again, low cost, but not super low cost, as in minimum wage locals with a script that they can deliver really, really friendly and Aussie. And this might be our call. And this would have to be, I would train up a telemarketer. So to be, hey, Greg, mate, it's Glenn Twiddle here. Oh, I'm calling on behalf of Glenn. I'm not sure if Glenn's name rings a bell. Right? Oh, okay, man. The reason for the call is and it's got to be so conversational, so like their neighbor, but then slowly segue into the reason for the call is, hey, he's just offering to give back something to the community. He's got a report put together of all property sales and listings and everything, just so that you can know what this current economic madness has done to the value of your home. I'm just going to get Glenn to drop it round if that's okay. Do you want him to just leave it on the doorstep and that's the call. And anything more professional than that, or anything more commercial, as you're saying, the outsourcing, how there's that shaming thing, all I would say is that is to the nth degree for us bloody Aussies, because we're so intolerant of commerce. You know, it's like weird that we have an intolerance of commerce, of success. They call it tall poppy syndrome or whatever, that sort of lack of real, you know, that sort of lack of authenticity. We've got to take those concepts to a very high level to get any degree of any degree of communication from the person on the other end of that phone. Anything less than that, you are met with either click or abuse. En masse.
I'm going to totally throw my staff under the bus tomorrow when we have a meeting, because I'm going to ask for everybody to speak with an Aussie accent and see what happens.
Let's try, Jess. If you are the one,
I've never thought about it, because the Filipinos that we have they tend to sound more American, and so I don't know if it's because of American TV and the military and the American presence of commercial commerce and whatnot, but I've never thought to ask about an Australian accent or see if anybody had one. I've heard people who have they sound like they're from the South. They sound like they're from Alabama, but never left the Philippines.
I have used virtual callers in the past, and that has been my blowback, is the fact with the accent, people immediately think they're going to be telemarketed. Let's talk about this really quickly, Jess. I want to talk about what you guys are doing with 1,000 calls a day. I believe Frank works with you guys, right?
Frank is my partner. I used to, I actually was his ISA for the longest time over at Viral. And Frank helped me get the company started about 6 years ago.
ISA?
Inside sales agent.
Yeah. Dude, that's amazing. I've been a viral marketing client for like 5 years now. So, and they have bloopers of me because all the F-bombs I do on my outtakes. They pass this around the office and they all get a kick out of it. So
that's awesome.
When you started, yeah, I think so too. I think they're freaking hilarious. But when you started 1,000 calls a day, and you knew that you were going to get some blowback in regards to the accent. When it comes to the normal real estate agent that has an accent, right, and is just trying to make their way through the industry, what are some things, or is this something you've kind of covered a little bit to help people get over that hump? Like, oh, let's say they have a Filipino accent because they're from the Philippines, right?
Right.
And they're over here and they're doing real estate and they want to expand their business. How can someone overcome that? Because I think you'd be the perfect person to talk on that, because it's something I've never really thought of, but it's such a big thing, really.
Yeah. So for most people that are immigrants or children of immigrants that would have an accent, they're going to be in your more highly populated areas. So it's probably not going to be as big of a deal. I happen to live in like a very rural part of Texas. I have a 62-acre farm that I live on.
What?
And
No, stop,
What?
girl. Me and Greg are getting, we're not allowed to get on planes, but see, you're the envy of the world right now.
I am. You'll hear my rooster. I've got chickens. I've got fish. I can farm. I've got, I'm set. Like, as long as Amazon keeps delivering, I'm good.
My God. Is there a way to throw a beer through a camera at someone?
The cheers.
I wish. That's the one thing I don't have is alcohol.
Oh, no. That's a non-starter.
Yes. You guys are making me a little jealous on that one.
Look at my Avengers Esky. Look at Thor, the Australian icon there. Look at Thor. There he is.
So, even in your smaller markets, as long as you have a local presence and you can actually discuss, like, I'm right there in the office by the McDonald's. Or around the corner from the Domino's, like, don't you wish that was back open again? And just small talk, little icebreakers. Oh, haven't you seen my face? I'm the only, Asian guy in town. Like, that's, I used to be a chef before I started this business and before I went to work for Frank, and I worked for probably one of the few Chinese men in the city, especially one of the few like big business owners in the city when I first started working. And he used to make jokes about being the only Chinese man in this small little town in East Texas all the time. And it made him a character.
You wouldn't be anywhere near Texarkana, would you?
No.
That's in songs. I've heard that word in songs.
Texarkana, my good friend Veronica Jones lives there, and so I just like, are you anywhere near that? Because it sounds very familiar. So,
what song is that in? It's a country song. There's beer in Texarkana or something. What?
I have no idea.
I have no idea.
I'm gonna figure it out. I'm going to figure it out before this call's over.
This 8 a.m. beer is getting to his head. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, it's not.
So let's talk, just a little bit more about how people can overcome this and what are some tactics and takeaways that people can take to start doing the calls if they have that intimidation and built into their brain where it doesn't need to be.
Yeah. So so I think taking advantage of the fact that you are really in a public service position at this point as a business owner in a small community, even in a large community, as a business owner, you rely on your city, your community to employ yourself and to employ any staff that you might have. So using this as a moment to do what you can to give back and doubling down. And it sounds maybe a little harsh, but like doubling down on your marketing to the extent of, if you've got all those water bottles from the, marathon or whatever that you sponsored from last year sitting in the back storage room, go out and make little baskets or little bags and put them on people's porches in your farm with, hand sanitizer or what have you. Even calling around and then call around and say, hey, did you happen to get the basket I left or the bag that I left for you? I just wanted to make sure you guys had a nice, cool cup of water and some hand sanitizer. It's flipping the script and addressing the negative. Yes, this is a bad time, but I am focused on making sure that our community is okay, that you're okay. And I want to be that calm, centered, nurturing voice of reason amidst the chaos when everybody else is listening to fear porn.
It is fear porn.
Oh,
It
fear
really is.
Good word.
Yeah.
Good word.
Well, everybody likes porn. Everybody's addicted to fear. Put them
Yeah,
together. Bada boom.
that's right. And Christina
Almost
on
as
the
good as
comments
good
is
porn,
just
but-
there saying, "Oh, sorry, go. You're addicted to good porn." Oh my God, Jess.
No,
Jess
I
is gonna
said
get some
almost
cold
as good as
calls.
food porn. Food.
Jess is just about to get some calls, and they're going to be saying, "Now, where's this farm in Texas? There's a porn addicted, beautiful lady."
Oh my
Now,
God.
Oh my
Christina in
goodness.
the comments has definitely found it at the same time as I did off the movie Smokey and the Bandit. There is a song on that called Eastbound and Down by Jerry Reed. That is exactly what that song is, where there's beer in Texarkana. So, Christina, thank you. You are right. The
That
great
is
Jerry
amazing.
Reed.
That is awesome. So just let's tackle another thing here really quickly. People always say, and obviously I do not have this fear, but people are always afraid of not having the perfect script. Would you encourage? Obviously, I would love to have people obviously reach out to guys. I don't make a damn dime off of anything that she sells. I want that to be very clear.
No.
And so, well, we could work something out.
He is in Texarkana.
My director of operations just was like, "Hey, these guys are asking people to go live with them." I was out fixing my well.
And you're like, huh? Gosh, that is awesome. So let's talk about like the fear of going live, or the fear of going on and doing calls. Give me one mental exercise that you and your VAs do, either when they are having a rough day, they've got a lot of no's, because everyone ebbs and flows, right? Everyone does this when it comes to their ability to get out there and crush. So when you're having, Glenn, who is having a rough day, is one of your VAs, and you're going to give him a little pep talk or a little, "Hey, bro, well, attaboy." What is that going to do? What is that going to look like? So people can do this mental exercise when they go out and start doing calls.
So one of the biggest things I can recommend to make sure that you're prepared for making phone calls is it happens before the stress starts, and that is just repetition, knowing exactly what you want to ask and the questions that you need answered so that you can be natural. That's the biggest thing, so that you can, even if things veer off into a tangent, because I'm the world's worst, squirrel, you can bring it back to, "Hey, no, I have this list of things that I need to get to in my head, and the script goes like this, but I don't want to sound like that guy, that 50-year-old guy that wrote that.
Mm-hmm.
I want to sound like me." So it's just repetition of knowing what you want to say all the time and being on point with that. When it comes to just having a bad day, one of the biggest things that we do is we just change their list. We change their campaign. Let's just change focus for a second.
You know what? That's actually a really good point. I use RedX, and if I'm getting my ass handed to me on expireds or FISBOs, expireds, I'll switch over to for rent by owners, or maybe I'll switch over to if you really want to get your ass handed to you, go to the pre-foreclosures. That's a brutal list to call. That's like if you've gotten like 4 or 5 solid leads in a day, you're like invincible for the rest of the day. You're like, pre-foreclosures, I'm going to take these guys on.
That's our specialty.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm. We work specifically, most of our clients are investors, and we look for distressed properties before they hit the market. So we're looking for pre-foreclosures. We're looking for all of those stress indicated lists.
There you go, mate. Their specialty is the one everyone else hates. I see a match made in heaven. Hey?
So let's do this. Jess, we're going to close this show out here in a few minutes, but I want everyone to know where they can go and contact you, talk to you about 1,000 calls a day.
Fearporn.com.
Oh my God. I should go to my GoDaddy account and see if that's available.
I might beat you to that one.
I don't want to Google it though.
I'll do
it'll
that.
come up in your. It'll start giving you all sorts of suggestions for future.
I know, I can't do that.
Interested in.
So
I'm searching it right
Look
now.
at that. Greg's registering the URL as we speak.
No,
Look at him
bro.
go.
No, it's you can buy it for $20,000.
What?
Yeah, you can buy it for $20,000.
So anybody who's interested in calling, They can reach out to us at 1000callsaday.com and send an email to info@1000callsaday. And Michelle, my ISA, will reach out and set up a time for them to speak with me.
Cool.
Okay. That's absolutely awesome. I don't have a
I'm
way
going to try you out, Jess. Let's make sure we connect. I'm going to try it out and see if we can't figure out how to crack the Australian calling code, because I can promise you, if you do, you're the first one. You're the first one. So let's make sure
I like a challenge. I like a challenge, and I've got lots of good callers right now. And the phone number is the phone number problem's easy. It's going to be the accent. That's going to be the hardest thing.
So Jess, what I want you to do, or what I want you or one of your staff to do, go in and make a comment here with your contact information, your email or your phone number. I will post that up. People, guys, this is just a service because I want you guys all to thrive, not just survive in this time frame. And if you can hire someone that can do the calls for you.
Video.
Thrive, not survive?
Yeah.
It's true, man.
How to thrive in this market. Yeah.
And so what we're going to do is we're going to get her contact information up here, and then we're going to, if you guys want to make a call, ask for the McDaniel discount, and it is a solid 0, but you can still try. You never hurts to ask. And I think that would be amazing. Glenn, let's kind of go with you a little bit and just kind of see what are some final takeaways here for everyone, for their marketplace, for their marketing, for their team, for their everything.
All I would say, well, the last thing I would say, and it's how we started this call, and talking about squirrel there, Jess. Me and Greg squirreled in the first 5 minutes of this conversation. Yeah, I kind of want to finish on that. And Jess, you've put your contact details in our little stream here, I think.
Of course I did.
And so yeah, whack it into the Facebook stream. Yeah.
All right.
So Greg, I just want to go back to where we started, which is everyone who's listening to this and everyone who's going to listen to this, there'll be thousands of agents across America, a lot of Americans primarily, but all around the world. And we started by saying last week, we ended up having an impromptu thing like this, where we had 7 of the leading Australian real estate identities in Australia happened to be on this stream that I was doing. So I made them all participants, and we had 7 of us, and we ended up in an impromptu chat. And we had Matt Steinway at one end of that chat going, look, he wasn't celebrating the fact, don't get me wrong, it's still annoying or whatever, but he was like, positive, business as usual, and there can be something even positive to come out of this if you're highly skilled and all of that. And at the other end of the chat, we had an equally successful, equally experienced beast who had a look of fear on his face unlike that I've ever seen him before, because he settled on a 7-figure, bought a competitor out, and it just settled in the middle of this craziness. He's been working on this deal for a period of time. It's finally done, settlement done. He takes ownership of the new business in the middle of this crazy stuff. So he's worried that this thing that he's put his life into is about to go away, because business and economics and all of this uncertainty. And then everywhere in between. So we had 2 of the leaders in Australia at 2 extremes of their response to how this is going. And we had 6 others everywhere at varying levels, either leaning towards the Matt, it's okay, leaning towards the Chris, I'm scared, and everywhere in between. My main thing, Greg, if we were wrapping it up, is I would say wherever you're at on that spectrum, know that you're not alone. Don't be embarrassed if you're like Matt and you're charging through business as usual, even thinking, how can I come out of this even better than I was before? Don't let anyone shame you into thinking you're wrong. And also, don't be embarrassed if you're like Chris and you've just made some significant changes. You've just quit your secure job for the government, entered real estate 4 months ago, still struggling. And now this craziness happens and you're sitting there wishing you were still in the government with all your buddies from the government. Now they've been sent home, full pay, full incentive, don't have to do any work. And you're sitting there going, why did I even do that? And you're more on the scared end of the spectrum. The fact is, everyone is all across that spectrum. Don't be embarrassed to be at one end or the other. Acknowledge it for what it is and tune into something that'll help you get through. Now, if you get through with, erring towards being a bit worried and a bit cautious and a bit scared and stuff, fine, acknowledge that. Give yourself some love. Get yourself around some loved ones and do what you can do to survive so that when you come out, you can go. If you're at the more end of the spectrum where you're wanting to go already, fine. Find the methodologies with which are legal, compliant, safe to you, safe to your community, safe to your family and everything. And then within those constraints, go your hardest. But Greg, we're in unprecedented territory. So any advice that anyone gives, including my advice, must be treated with a grain of salt because no one knows. All of the people at the top who are guessing based on models, they've got models that said that 2 million people in the States were going to die. Now they're saying it's 80,000 and those models are falling. So whatever, like we took the 2 million, we took action based on that 2 million having some degree of accuracy. So if that's the case, everything that they're saying must be flawed because no model can go from 40,000 potentially to 2 million and everywhere in between and have any degree. Everyone is freaking guessing. So don't think that you in any way are allowed to be made to feel wrong because your guess is different to some other maniac's guess. The fact is we are in unprecedented waters. You've got to take all of this information from every freaking lunatic in the country and in the world, because everyone who's got a Facebook account now is now a university level statistician. They now understand bell curves and exponential curves and all of this bull, they're all a freaking epidemiologist. They're all got all the answers. And no one has. The advisors to the president of the United States don't have all the answers. So if they don't, we can only do what we guess is best. And if we can just get through this, we will come out of it. We're both Western free countries. The minute this craziness is over, we're going to build bigger and better countries and businesses and lives than we've ever built before because we've had a taste of what it's like on the, let's just say, the other side of freedom. Because we are all experiencing a little taste of what it's like to be under house arrest, to have someone with a gun insisting that you stay within a certain confines of certain walls. And with all that said, I'm suggesting that not many of us like that lack of freedom. And the minute that's over, we're going to treat with reverence how special both of our cultures are. So there's my little rant, Greg.
No, I completely agree with you. I think there's going to be a lot of life shifts in regards to what's going to be coming out of this whole pandemic thing. And, I was listening to a podcast today, which is honestly scaring me quite a bit because these guys are talking to people of the CDC and everything. Again, guys, I have no medical background. I do not know what the fuck I am talking about. I am just regurgitating something that someone else said. I am not your person you should be listening to, but I'm just saying what I took away from the conversation I heard. And it was purely about the fact, like, we're in the beginning stage of the stages of this thing. There's a strong opportunity. This thing might just be peaking around June of this year. So to eat about a half of this year, if not more, in a real problem. And there's potential opportunity, talk that there's even a worse virus brewing in Wuhan right now that's that they haven't even really dealt with yet or not even admitting to. So this is what I'm saying. I want you guys to niche down and start really taking stock of your life and what you want to do and where you want to do it and how you want to do it. If you want to do real estate, rock on. If you want to fucking kick it to the curb, kick it to the curb. If you want to move to Idaho and live on a river, do that. If you want to live in New York City, which I wouldn't recommend at the moment, go ahead and do that. But what I'm saying is I think there's going to be a lot of shifting of people in this industry in and out of it. I think there's going to be people making major life shifts because when you get a taste of being a captive, you make a shift to doing something that you truly love, right? And I am making shifts in my life dramatically, as much as I have done. I'm on the course for almost 500,000 cold calls myself in my career. I mean, I'm just shy of that number, and that's a large number. And so I've decided I'm going to go double down. And I got this bad little boy, my DJI Gimbal 3, which, by the way, this little thing for like $128 is one of the best purchases you can possibly make. Because I'm going to go double down on YouTube. I'm going to go double down on videos, and that's something I love to do. And I put a plan together and a business plan of how I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get leads from doing it. Okay, so that's kind of where I am. I would say follow your truth, find your power. Don't care about what anyone else is going to say to you, and just own your business. Whatever that's going to look like, just own your business. And if that's calling all your past clients and sending them, you know, some hand sanitizer, or if it's hiring Jess and 1,000 calls a day to do a lot of calls out to your past database or your sphere on your behalf to leverage your time, if that's following my boy Jackson Wilkie over at YouTube Agent and learning how to do YouTube videos to get leads inbound to you on video, if you like that, you know, if it's, you know, using send out cards to, you know, send personal messages to everyone that you know all day long, while people could use a little encouragement throughout this time period. That's another good one too. There is really no wrong answer. Just start taking action on something and make it happen. That's all I'm saying. There's 100,000 different ways to be relevant. There's 100,000 different ways to be, you know, be a value add to your database and your community. Pick one and take action with it. Don't say, well, yeah, tomorrow I'll do it. No. Fuck that shit, dude. Start action, like literally get off this fucking call, this video right now. Not right now, wait till I end it. But then go and start doing something that's going to do something better for your bottom line, for your community, your family, and for your past clients and your friends. So, all right, guys, this is my first live stream. As always, we have Jess of 1,000 Calls a Day right there. So, guys,
Awesome.
go and make sure you take a look at 1,000 calls a day, making them do the ring, ring, ring for you so you don't have to. And then Glenn, I don't have your brand up there fast enough, unfortunately.
We've only been buds for like 3 years, and you got nothing. You got no logos. You got nothing. Hey, I know. Censored one the other day. I put up that one the other day.
Oh, you know what? Hold up. I'm
make always carrying the flag, my man. The Real Estate Uncensored flag. It's tattooed on my butt.
And so this is
look, I'm a walking billboard for other people. This is an Eric Thomas t-shirt. I've got the Real Estate Uncensored branding on my Zoom background when I use the green screen and stuff.
I know. And this is what I'm going to do for you guys. I want you guys to go follow this podcast. That is an absolutely amazing podcast. It's one of my go-to podcasts when I want to listen to stuff. And yes, it's the Real Estate Renegades.
You found one.
Real Estate Renegades, classic, man. With Glenn, his beautiful business partner and partner in life, Naomi, who, by the way, you guys, if you guys obviously don't know this, our first live event together that we did like 2 or 3 years ago, we were talking, and all of a sudden, Naomi comes out into the hallway and goes, "McDaniel, stage now!" And I'm like, "Oh shit!" And so I ran over there, and I'm like, "God, this woman is a ball buster. I love her. This is something awesome." So you guys,
welcome to my life, Greg. Welcome.
Hey.
That's just, you just got a taste.
Dude, you and I are dating the same women with different bodies. Trust me. All right, guys, remember, go to 1,000 calls a day. Make sure you hook them up, and then take a look at the podcast, Real Estate Renegades, for amazing content. I listen to Glenn's show all the time. And
well, do you listen to your episodes, Greg? When the ones where you and me are on?
You mean this show? You mean?
Oh no, I meant
show?
on Real Estate Renegades. You guest star in like a third of the episodes.
I actually do listen to them like a glutton. If you guys go ahead and follow, like, and share, go download my podcast, Real Estate Uncensored. You see it right there. Give it a 5-star review. Take a look at it. And then, of course, guys, you know, just follow me on all my Facebook channels. Go to my YouTube if you're on Facebook right now. It's Greg McDaniel, REU for Real Estate Uncensored. And if you're on Facebook, if you're on YouTube, go to my Facebook and follow me there, guys. All kinds of crazy cool content's going to be coming up.
Scary thing.
What?
I just see on the Facebook thread, it says, we've been just talking about her. It says Naomi Twyford joined. She might have heard us talking about her.
She probably did. She's like, that asshole.
McDaniel.
All in love, my friend. All in love. Probably shaking her head going, what are these two idiots doing? Anyways, Jess, you're amazing. We are going to get you back on here and have some more fun. Glenn, you're absolutely one of my most favorite humans on earth. Guys, I don't know how this works, but just stay here for a second. I'm going to end the broadcast, guys. Give me a like, a thumbs up, a share, something. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Boom. Peace. We out, ninjas. Later.